Tonight, city homicide detectives are investigating the murder of a Northwest Baltimore man. Police say the 57-year-old victim had been stabbed repeatedly. His body was found this afternoon in his second-floor apartment on Spalding Avenue. The man's name isn't being released until next of kin is notified. Police say they have no motive or witnesses in the case. Two city men are in critical condition tonight, the apparent victims of a robbery. Police tell us the two were followed into a house on Port Street by the suspected robbers. They got into a fight and the two men were shot. Both remain hospitalized tonight. Police are continuing their investigation. Two victims of an early morning fire also remain hospitalized tonight. The blaze broke out around 3 o'clock this morning in the second floor of a house on South Conkling Street in East Baltimore. The two victims are at Hopkins Hospital, but their names and conditions have not been released. Fire investigators are still looking into how that fire started.
Well, depending on how you look at it, today Christmas came to Baltimore either 8 months early or 4 months late. That's right. As Andrea Koppel reports, it's Christmas in April for one Baltimore neighborhood.
The month of April is known for a couple of things, like April showers. Today's weather was proof of that, and April flowers. But Christmas? Well, as of today, thanks to over 1,000 volunteers, April will now be a second Christmas for those elderly Baltimore homeowners like Mr. and Mrs. Charles Hall, whose homes need fixing up.
Yeah, after we got a little older, it's been hard, yes, because we used to do a lot ourselves, but we were not able to do it. It's hard now. It's hard washing the steps for me.
The program Christmas in April has been around for 8 years in other parts of the country, but it's brand new to Baltimore. The project is a national effort to help keep needy homeowners warm and dry in their own homes. This year, Baltimore volunteers spent the day working on 50 homes in the Ashco East neighborhood in West Baltimore.
I just painted, rolled and rolled and rolled. Yes, that was fun. It was fun. And gave orders. You missed the spot.
You get this sense of really helping. It's very fulfilling. I would tell anyone to do it. It's very, very nice.
And I've been running ragged trying to get them materials. We've had over 20 people in the house, and they go through an awful lot of paint and plaster and so forth very quickly.
Christmas means giving, and so that's what it is. They're giving to us, and that makes it good. It makes it a perfect name, Christmas in April.
And as the first ever Christmas in April in Baltimore draws to a close, it's fair to say that judging by the reaction of volunteers and homeowners, this program has added a new dimension to the meaning of Christmas. Andrea Koppel, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
And Andrea says thanks to hundreds of businesses across Baltimore, Christmas in April will save the city $500,000.
A Baltimore area bank is doing its part to aid needy homeowners. Chase Bank of Maryland is helping design a mortgage program for the People's Homesteading Group. PHG is a group of low-income families who work together to renovate and inhabit houses donated by the city. Chase Bank officials are lending more than financial advice to the group. They went to work today teaching PHG families construction skills as they rebuild the 2800 block of North Avenue. The end result was gruesome. A Baltimore policeman is shot in the face.
The 16-year-old suspect, caught in an alleged drug deal, pulls a gun and is shot to death. The policeman is recovering, and it'll be at least 2 weeks before we get details from the investigation into last night's shooting. Tonight, however, we get details from a grieving mother. George Parks' death was like the epilogue to a crime novel. His mother talked about a child driven to support a baby on the way, a child upset himself over the recent death of his father.
He was quiet, kept things to himself. He just got hung up with making that fast money, because I couldn't really give him what he wanted, but I gave him what I could. I did for him what I could, but it wasn't enough.
Fast money meant drug deals, and Gail Parks knew her son was into them. She'd begged him to stop and was there when Friday night's deal went bad. Undercover police were there too and saw George in a suspected drug deal on Edmondson. When one officer got too close, George shot him in the face. Officer Lamont Bivens was released after a night stay in the hospital, but George Parks would not be so lucky. Two more officers chased him home, where the 16-year-old pulled a gun and was shot to death. Do you think he wanted this to happen?
I'm pretty sure, Mr. because he just talked to me 3 days ago when I came home from work. He told me he was tired. I asked him what was he tired about. He said, I'm just tired, Mom. I want to go be with my daddy.
The preliminary investigation would indicate that all of the procedures were followed. However, we're guided by an investigation by the state's attorney's office. Early this morning, they were satisfied that it appeared that the officers had acted properly.
The police officer knew we didn't have to shoot to kill him. I understand he shot our officer, but he only had a .22.
As we said earlier, Officer Bivens was released this afternoon. The bullet went through his left cheek and is still lodged near an ear canal. Doctors will wait a while before going back after him.
Earth Day festivities also took place at the Inner Harbor today. The Maryland Port Administration christened a new debris boat designed to pick up trash in the Inner Harbor. The boat will join the rest of the city's cleanup fleet, currently on display at the Inner Harbor. Tomorrow marks the 20th anniversary of the original Earth Day as the week-long environmental awareness campaign comes full circle. We'll have a complete wrap-up of the day's festivities on Eyewitness News at 6:30. If you'd like more information on how to save the environment, send a self-addressed stamped envelope to The Earth and You, WJZ-TV, Television Hill, Baltimore, Maryland, 21211. We'll send you a pamphlet full of tips on how you can make the Earth a healthier place to live.
Baltimore City Jail remains in a lockdown tonight following the murder of an inmate. Police say 4 prisoners used a bedsheet to strangle 21-year-old Stephen Isaacs last Thursday, reportedly because they wanted Isaacs' rhinestone-studded blue jean jacket. Isaacs had been in jail for 4 days on an auto theft charge. Tonight, state police are looking for 3 juvenile delinquents who walked away from the Charles Hickey School this afternoon. Police say the juveniles were being loaded onto a bus to go to a recreation outing when they escaped from the Baltimore County Detention Center. Now, one of the escapees was being held on narcotics violations while the other 2 were being held for auto theft. Police say they were dressed in the bluish-green state uniforms, but that they may have changed their clothing.
Tonight, city homicide detectives are looking for your help. At about 11 this morning, police found a man stabbed and shot to death in a wooded area off Garrison Boulevard. The man's identity has not been released. Detectives say they are interviewing possible suspects in the murder. If you have any information, please call City Homicide. Tonight, the undercover police officer shot during an alleged drug deal has been released from the hospital, but the ordeal isn't over for him. Officer Lamont Bivens was shot in the left cheek around 7:40 last night while watching an alleged drug deal go down. 2 other officers followed the teenager who allegedly shot Bivens. 16-year-old George Parks into his house. A struggle ensued and the teen was shot and killed. City Police spokesman Dennis Hill explains the officer's current condition.
Well, he's pretty good. They released him this afternoon shortly before 2 o'clock. He still has a bullet lodged in the left side of his face, and they'll wait a few days and decide what to do about that.
Officers Clifton Macer III and Donald Haskins Jr. have been placed on administrative leave while a routine internal investigation gets underway.
14 people were arrested for allegedly buying crack, a diluted form of crack from an undercover officer posing as drug dealers. Police say that those arrested approached the officers and asked to buy the drugs. They got what they thought was crack cocaine, but it was actually a police substitute. The Frederick Police Department, the County Sheriff's Office, and Narcotics Task Force officers joined forces for Operation Roundup. Well, America's favorite cartoon characters took to the airwaves with a message about drugs and alcohol today. Don't do them. Families were encouraged to watch Cartoon All-Stars to the rescue together. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles joined Bugs Bunny, Alf, Garfield, and the Slimer for a half-hour public service message that was broadcast simultaneously on all 3 networks and several cable stations.
Did you get a chance to see it?